Do you ever find yourself standing in the cereal aisle, staring at 40 options, and then just walking away? Or boiling the kettle and never making a cup of tea? Not because you weren't thirsty or hungry, because your brain simply didn't have the bandwidth to choose. That moment right there, it's a signal. It's not about the cereal or the kettle, it's about what's happening beneath that. It's about burnout. Marny is a psychologist and an author and has spent 2 decades working with people at exactly that point. And what she says about the slow creep of burnout and how most of us miss it entirely is something that every man in midlife needs to hear. I'm Paul O'Sullivan. I'm the host of Don't Let the Old Man In. Let's dive in. Marny describes burnout as
the physical, mental, emotional and spiritual exhaustion of someone, isn't it? When there's so many demands placed on you, but your internal resources aren't able to cope with them because it's so much.
It's not one thing, it's a systemic and a system failure. So here's the action. Take 10 minutes and honestly rate yourself in each of these 4 areas on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is never and 10 is all the time. So physically, 1, I feel exhausted when I wake up. 10, I feel very, very energetic. Mentally, I feel foggy or cynical or I'm struggling to concentrate. That's 1. 10 is I feel very, very clear and alive. Emotionally, I'm having outbursts more than usual. I feel concerned. I'm feeling numb. 10 is I feel fantastic. And spiritually, I've lost the thread of why anything matters. 10 is I feel very fulfilled. Now write it down, do a self-audit. Don't do it in your head. A number on a piece of paper is harder to dismiss than a feeling you've been carrying quietly for a number of months. Now we know this works because the reason burnout does so much damage is that most people don't catch it until they're already on the floor. Marny is clear by that time someone lands in her office, they're in full burnout. She can't start working on solutions straight away. They haven't got the capacity. They haven't got the energy to do something in that moment. And she tells them to stop first. Take annual leave. Lie in bed. Have a rest. But do nothing. Because at that point, there's no capacity or energy available to you. So the audit allows you to catch something in advance. A 2022 study published in the Frontiers of Psychology found that self-monitoring of emotional and physical state done regularly and written down is the most reliable early warning system for burnout. So if you find yourself unable to make simple choices, what to have for lunch, what to watch on TV, where to park the car, it's not laziness. It's your system telling you that your tank might be close to empty. Action 2 is map your energy. Get clear on what drains it and what puts energy back. After the audit I've just described, Marny asks her clients to go through a simple but revealing exercise. She asks them to write down the things in life that give energy, take energy, and what restores energy in every domain, in work, in relationships, in their exercise, their sleep, the conversations they're having, the conversations they're not having. And most people, when they do this honestly, discover that the lists are badly out of balance. And they also discover that some of what's draining them can easily be shifted, changed, tweaked, sometimes with a conversation, sometimes with a boundary, and sometimes by instilling a new habit. You start with the smallest thing on the drain list that you have some control over, not the biggest one, the smallest one. It could be as simple as making sure I have a cup of tea in the morning without my phone. Marny is very deliberate about this. Giving someone who's already running on empty or feeling overwhelmed a long list of improvements is the worst possible thing to do because it maximizes pressure on someone who's already feeling pressurized. But one small thing done consistently is worth more than 5 things attempted and abandoned. In 2021, a review in a magazine called Work and Stress covered 19 different studies on energy management interventions, and it found that identifying and protecting personal recovery activities, the things that genuinely restore rather than just distract your energy, reduce burnout symptoms significantly over a 12-week period. 3 months. The key word here is the word genuine. Scrolling your phone after dinner is not recovery. It's a distraction. A walk without your phone is recovery. Sleep is recovery. A conversation that goes somewhere real is recovery. So map your energy, see what drains you, see what gives you energy, and start small. Action number 3, here's what I do. Spend time alone without an agenda, and do this deliberately. Marny's latest book is built on this whole topic. Not isolation, not escapism, solitude, but solitude with the intention of having solitude. The instruction that she gives us men at Midlife that she works with is disarmingly simple.
Grab a backpack and go away by yourself and just travel for a while, a couple of weeks, and spend time with yourself without the influence of other people.
Have a walk, be in nature, and just sit with whatever comes up. Now, she says this very directly. We have more answers inside of us than we think, but we can't hear them when every spare moment is filled with noise, obligation, or someone else's agenda. There's a growing body of evidence on solitude and what it does for our brain. A study from the University of Rochester found that voluntary solitude, taking time by ourselves, chosen rather than imposed, is associated with significantly higher levels of self-awareness, emotional regulation, that is managing how we feel ourselves and managing how we react to situations, and what is called autonomous motivation, the kind that comes from inside rather than external pressures or any sense of obligation. The emotion of loneliness is a signal worth listening to. It's not a problem to fix. It's telling us something about where we're disconnected. And the disconnection is often from ourselves, not just from other people. So sitting by ourselves in the feeling rather than trying to escape it is how we start to hear what's actually underneath this. In an earlier episode, Kerry Sackville, who's an author of a book on solitude, she says being alone is chosen and it's practiced, and it's one of the most restorative things someone can do. Marny's clinical experience also backs this up. The men who build solitude into our weeks consistently report that it changes everything around them. How they shop at home, how they handle pressure at work, how much they actually enjoy the time they spend with other people. So 3 things. Audit where you're actually across those 4 domains I outlined earlier. Map what drains, what gives us energy, and what restores our energy, and just start on one thing. And the last one, build some deliberate, intentional solitude in your week. The full description of the conversation I had with Marny Lishman is down below. She talks about the U-curve of midlife. She talks about the clinical patterns she sees in us men and what contentment looks like as a daily practice. It's really worth your time listening to this. And if this was useful, please subscribe. If there's anybody in your network you think would benefit from this, please send it to them. And in the meantime, don't let the old man in.